Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you for being with me again today. This this video has two articles, and they have to do with oil sales, and they have to do with how much money Russia is making from the sanctions, and how Russia diversified and increased the sales of oil to other countries, avoiding Europe, for instance. And they're doing very well. Very well. So I have two articles. I'm going to read their title first, and then we're going to analyze them. The first one is coming from, what's this, Business Insider, and it's from today, June 13th, 2022. Russia earns 79 billion pounds from fuel exports in 100 days of Ukrainian war. That's the first title. And the other one is from the same outlet. Russia was India's second largest oil supplier in May, surpassing Saudi Arabia, new data shows. So let's start with the India thing. So Russia was India's second largest oil supplier in May, Reuters first reported. India imported about 819,000 barrels of Russian oil per day last month. Russia accounted for roughly 16.5% of India's total imports in May. Russia surpassed Saudi Arabia as India's second largest oil supplier in May. India imported about 819 barrels of Russian oil per day, which accounts for roughly 16.5% of its total imports. Iraq remains India's premier oil supplier, while Saudi Arabia has been pushed to the third spot. India's increased appetite for Russian oil comes as sanctions take aim at the Kremlin's output in light of its ongoing war on Ukraine. The Biden administration announced sanctions following the unimportant. You know why? Because they still make money more than before the sanctions. My God. So India's overall imports rose 5.6% in May and climbed 19% from a year earlier. And we jump to the second article, which says that Russia earned 79 billion pounds from fuel exports in 100 days of Ukraine war. Russia earned 93 billion euros. That's 79 billion pounds would be about what, 96 billion dollars, let's say, something like that, from fossil fuel exports during the first 100 days of its war in Ukraine, with most sent to the European Union, according to research published Monday. So European Union still buys the most, or bought the most. The report from the independent, Finland-based Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air comes as Kiev urges the West to sever all trades with Russia and unimportant. According to the report, the EU took 61% of Russia's fossil fuel exports during the war's first 100 days, worth about 57 billion euros. The top importers were China at 12.6 billion euros, Germany at 12.1 billion, and Italy 7.8 billion. Well, let's see. The reason for imposing sanctions on a country is to blackmail it, saying if you don't do what I say, you will be hurt here. So I will hurt you here if you, or threaten you the same way here. And it seems like this did not work as of now. And I don't know. First, I don't think that Europe will be able to get rid of Russian energy. Even if it minimizes it, I don't think there are going to be other suppliers that will jump in. And if other suppliers will jump in, that means they will not be able to supply in other areas. Because the problem is the energy is limited, obviously. Very genius-like. It's very limited. So if you take from here and put over there, you have to open this market for, it's like a switch of, okay, you kick me out of here, you kick me out, you come in, I go there. Or you come here, I go here. It's kind of like that. There's not a big output of oil available unless you raise sanctions from other country like Iran or Venezuela, and then you allow them to become normal countries because you need them. But then your moral standing is hurt. But I don't care about that. Nevertheless, anything just now, this is our main enemy. We should crush this guy. We tried to crush you, Venezuela and Iran. We kind of damaged you, but now we have to crush this one. So we're gonna get you in business, to crush this one. Once we crush this one, we come back to you and we take care of you. As long as we have access to anything we need at a fair price, you know what I mean? So fair price as they purchased from the government of Mexico, the 5 states. Remember the Mexican-American War? Got to buy the whole area, the rest of the United States. So yeah, they have a fair price. They accepted it, right? Yeah. Are you accepting it? Yeah? Yeah, I do. Okay, see? You agreed, signed right here, the contract. So the same here. Well, so the sanctions don't work so far. First, Russia is advancing in Ukraine, reaching its goal. I don't know the timeline, so I don't know if it's slow, I don't know if it's fast. I intend to think that it's slow, but you can't jump too much. I'm just saying, because in a war, you jump, you leave behind enemies and things that are not solved, and then you have problems. You have guerrilla war behind your lines, and you don't want to have that. So probably you just want to increase, incrementally go west, and making sure that nothing behind remains to shoot you from behind or create problems. And that's why they go slow. I mean, obviously everybody from the Russian government and Russia would want things to be done like this, but it doesn't work that way, it seems like. So militarily, the Russians are not losing. Economically, the Russians are not losing. Well, you can say they're hurt. Yeah, they're hurt. But now we take the other side. Militarily, the other side is definitely losing because the territory is being occupied, right? The other side economically definitely is losing. I'm not talking about Ukraine, which is going to be a, now I don't want to say destroyed country, but it would be harmed economically. And, if you look at the infrastructure and so on, yeah, it's going to be affected with all these refugees and all that. But I'm talking about the Western countries, not militarily the Western countries, but economically. Economically, they are even more hurt than Russia. And if they're not, their populations, their citizens are going to cry before the Russians are. And I explained this in previous videos. Is that idea that if you don't have a goodie, it hurts, but doesn't hurt that much. But if you get the goodie today, and in 5 minutes someone comes and tells you you got to give it back, that hurts even more than wanting the goodie. But that's not me, that's psychology, and that's human nature. It doesn't mean that it always work that way, but works most of the time. So that's why the Western countries will cry first, because they will not have Coca-Cola, air conditioning, beer, and so on. And the other ones are used to not have food and electricity and heating. So you see where these guys start from and where these guys start from. So when economies are dropping, even if the Western economy or standard of living drops a little bit, it's going to be like the end of the world compared with the other one. I'm not saying that the Western countries can't, sacrifice it. No. The thing is, we're talking about different generations. If we talk about the real generations, yes, or in the past, they were able to. But these generations that we have right now, I think they're crybabies. They're pussified societies. I don't want to say feminized because it would be ugly, but you know what I mean, pussified. All right, thank you very much for being with me again today. Sanctions don't work, military losing. What are we going to do? See how far Ukraine would go? How many boys will still have to send and die? Test our weapons, and then what? Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.